Reichman University.
The Baseline. Stories from the court with Jonathan Liors and Mayor Cohen.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 4 of The Baseline. Today we've got an episode with Lior Berman. We're really excited to bring you this episode. We feel that it gives us a unique view into NCAA basketball. Lior plays for Auburn, which is one of the best programs in the entire United States for Division I basketball. He tells us some great stories about him and his teammates, how they experience Israel, and how his coach, Bruce Pearl, really influences the whole team. We've got a lot to talk about with Lior, and we're excited to get right into it. Let's go. Thank you, Lior Berman, for joining us here on The Baseline. This is episode 4. We've gotten some great pros so far. We really want to get some insight from you, Lior, from a college player, from somebody who's really seen, this huge scale of NCAA basketball from the inside. I'll give it up to John right now to give you a little bit of background about you.
Yes, sir. My boy Lior from Alabama, right?
Yes, sir.
You want to just tell us a little bit about your basketball background up until you got here?
Yeah, so, I've been playing basketball for as long as I can remember. Kind of grew up with my dad, always taking me to the gym. Played all throughout middle school, had a great high school career at Mountain Brook High School, and then decided to continue my basketball career at Auburn and been playing ever since.
That's awesome. You mentioned basketball in high school. I did see you in a dunk contest with Cole Anthony. Tell us about that. That must have been crazy.
Yeah. That was pretty funny. It was a City of Palms tournament, and my coach is like, all right, there's this dunk contest. Probably like one person from each team will be doing it. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And then I show up, and it's like Cole Anthony.
Oak Hill.
I think. All these like high flyers, I'm just like, oh boy.
It's like, shit. They did not prepare you for that.
Yeah, they're all kind of cracking jokes with me, and I'm just like, oh boy, it's about to be rough. But, I threw a couple.
Yeah, bro, I saw on your Instagram. Those were crazy. You had some reel up there. There's some insane windmills or something insane like that. You felt like you performed well in that dunk contest?
Yeah. But they threw down some crazy dunks.
Nah, whatever. He's in them. He's Cole Anthony, man. I don't think you can be mad about that.
It's all right.
In high school, you also participated in the Maccabi games, right?
Yes, I did that in high school and recently.
So tell us about that. What got you kind of into coming to play in Israel?
Yeah, so I played for the Maccabi USA in the U16 team in 2000. I forgot what the year was, but U16, and it was a great time. Got to represent my country, my religion, and play over there. But I was a lot younger then, but I actually played again on the open team this past summer, and I've always wanted to continue my career after college, and I'm looking at Israel and just playing over the summer. And, seeing it and experiencing it as I was older, it was, something that I really would love to do in the future.
100%. We've interviewed a few guys here playing professionally, and they're telling us, how it is compared to other countries and other places that they can play. But, what we've gotten so far is just a really, real passionate fan base, people who just love the environment here. The basketball culture is great. Compared to a lot of places in Europe, they've said, the family that they feel here is really something that's interesting, which I wanted to ask you about. Obviously, you're playing at Auburn. Last year, you guys were the number one team in the country for a long time. This year, you're having great success. You guys are ranked, having a really good season. So, obviously, every school has a very different basketball culture. But with Auburn specifically, how do you feel like how the school feels towards the basketball program, the support you guys have been getting, this season and last season? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's been great. There's nothing like some Auburn fans, and in our arena, the student section, it's called the Jungle.
Yeah,
and there's nothing like it. If we hit a couple threes and then someone dunks it, that place is gonna go crazy where you can't really hear anything. But even outside of the games, like last year when we were ranked number like 1, we like walk into like a random restaurant in Auburn and like people would start like get up and start like clapping. It was crazy.
The pride of the Tigers.
Yeah, just the support from everyone and all the fans has just been incredible.
Last year you guys had Jabari, which is crazy, and I saw that one game against Syracuse. You and Jabari were trading some threes over there. How did that feel? That must have been like a little bit of like a shocking moment for you, no?
Yeah, that was awesome. Like, I've kind of been increasing my role throughout the years, and like that was like at a point where like where it kind of like started, and I just let the first one fly.
Dude, that step back was tough. I think
a heat check had a step back. It went in, so it's all right, but it was good. But just playing with like Jabari, Walker, all those guys, they're just great teammates, and there's nothing like it. Like it's it's crazy.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just being, sharing the court, sharing the practices with those guys. Jabari, obviously, I think he went number 3 overall this year to the Rockets. Yeah. So what was your experience with his kind of build-up as a teammate? Like, kind of watching from the side, but I'm sure you could see a lot of, crazy media attention around him, how he handled that whole thing. But as somebody from the outside, in terms of like in the basketball court, when you're seeing all this attention, especially with him and Walker, who's playing very well this year, what was the support like from the team, just to kind of, the spotlight's on him, but also on the team at the same time? How is the balance in the locker room with those guys who are obviously projected to be high picks in the NBA draft, but having the team as a whole really having to perform as a unit?
Yeah, Jabari, he's one of the, he's there for a reason. All those things he's done is for a reason. He's put in the work. He has the mental, the drive, and we'd be in the arena like in the mornings at like 6:30 a.m. He would do that all the time. Like there was nothing that really got to his head. Like even with all the media and everything, like he really stayed true to himself, and he's gonna continue to do that. And he's a great teammate, super unselfish, and he's just a competitor. Like that's when it really comes down to it. He just loves competition, and that's what'll take him very far.
Yeah, good, very well said. But another one of your teammates, Ofek Reef. You remember Ofek? He was actually our first. He was our first episode here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he introduced the podcast with us. So Ofek, he decided to stop his basketball career at YU, and he's playing in Israel now. So you mentioned before that you'd see yourself playing in Israel. What do you think? Do you think that's kind of where you're setting your stones right now, or is it more up in the air still?
Yeah, I got my senior year this year, and then I do have a COVID year next year if I want to take it, which I'm definitely considering. But after all of that, I love. It's my goal to play professionally, and Israel is a great place where I can do that. I actually have family there, and but I've been seeing Ofek. He's got some nasty dunks so far. I've been on Instagram. He's looks like he's been tearing it up.
Yeah, we've been peeping the gram too for Ofek. That's what we talked about when we saw him. But speaking of that, and you just playing here in general, we know that Coach Pearl has a strong connection to playing. I mean, just being here in Israel, and we wanted to know. We know that the Auburn team comes out to Israel, and we know that you guys played some games here as well. So what was that experience a little bit like for you and for the rest of the team, as, I don't know, maybe some guys coming to Israel for the first time or seeing a lot of things they had never seen before, experiencing the country in a way that maybe they never thought they could. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I already been there like 3 times, so I really knew what to expect. But all my teammates had never been, and they had no idea what to expect. Like you hear like stories of Israel, and you really don't know what you're like getting into. And I was telling them, like, trust me, like it'll be a great time. Like just trust me. And they got over there, and it was just awesome because I kind of got to experience things for the first time through them. Like I'd already seen the Dead Sea a bunch of times, but then seeing them get in the Dead Sea and with the mud, it was like doing the whole thing like for the first time again. So that was really cool. They loved the Dead Sea. They thought Jerusalem was awesome. And then we're also on stayed in Tel Aviv on the beach, and that's pretty hard to beat. So
You guys get a chance to go out and enjoy the nightlife over there in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, we enjoyed the nightlife.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but it was just a great experience. It's so cool that who would think that like Auburn would be able to go to Israel for like no one's done that.
It's really inspiring what Bruce is doing, and it seems like he wants to be doing it every year. Really like catch an eye to those people that don't really know what Israel's about. See like what basketball culture is like here. People really wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, he's like the first one to do it, and I think he wants to make it the thing where college teams do this and just get to see Israel, and it's kind of change people's perspective, which I think is really cool.
What did your teammates say about it after the trip? Did you get the chance to speak to any of them?
Yeah. A lot of them really liked it. So, some were a little picky on the food. They wanted to try anything. I was like, just try it. I'm telling you. But everyone thought it was like really cool and also spiritual. A lot of my teammates got to experience their faith. And, I'm Jewish, but a lot of them are Christian, and they got to see that walk. And, that was, for them, that was, I think really special to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so you guys played a few games out here. So, tell us about that versus, I'm not exactly sure what team you guys played when you were here, but were your teammates kind of maybe a little bit impressed or maybe the other way around about the competition you guys played when you guys were here?
Yeah. So each game was kind of we played 3 games, and each game was like a step up in competition. First game, wasn't too hard. Second game was some more experienced pros. But in the third game, we played the national team with like Denny, and point guard who played for the Celtics.
Yamadar.
Yeah.
He's tough.
He was so good.
He's
but
tough.
they were a pro team. Like we did pretty good. But just I think we kind of gained a respect for like how it is to be like a pro. Like their ball movements, it's crazy, communication just on another level, and we gained a lot of respect for the pro players in Israel for sure.
Yeah, so about that style of play, kind of transitioning here a little bit. So you guys play in the SEC, right? Which is a specific brand of basketball. You see it all over the NCAA. Like some conferences play a little different than others. Did you feel like your style of play playing in the SEC versus their national team style of play? What were the glaring differences between you guys and them? Was it just the ball movement? Was it the way they played defense and spaced the floor? Yeah. What are some of the specifics that you guys noticed?
Well, for me, if I'm speaking personally, it's kind of sucks, but after the Maccabi games, I had a little tear in my calf, so I actually didn't get to play when Auburn came over. But just if I had to compare it, just playing the Maccabi games, everything's very physical. There's a lot of different foul calls. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's actually kind of a different game, and I just saw that with when Auburn came over there. I saw some of that too, but just the SEC, it's some of the best athletes ever, and I think that translated really well, just our physicality. But it was tough. They had great ball movement. They're very experienced, and but yeah, I think it translated pretty good.
Since you're pretty close to these guys that play college ball, and then a lot of these guys you see go up and play NBA ball, do you see a difference in play between the NBA and college? And in terms of, you see these guys who necessarily didn't have as much space get more space now, and they're just way better in the NBA because of spacing.
Yeah, definitely. It's been cool to see. It's been really cool to see Walker, translate his game from college into NBA. In college he's just blocking everything, and you'd think in the NBA it'd be much harder to do that, but he's still doing it, which is
he's playing like a beast.
So, I know it's just awesome to see. So yeah, I think there's a lot of differences, but if you have the mindset, you can really adapt to it, the different types of play. And NBA is more spaced out, but it hasn't seemed to bother some of my teammates, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we earlier, like a few episodes ago, we had somebody who plays professionally here in Renana, which is pretty close to where we are, northern Tel Aviv right now. And he played a preseason game. His name is Jason Sagers. I don't know if you remember the name or have heard of him, but he played versus the Thunder, and he scored 40 points in one of those preseason games, which is, he was telling us all about how, spacing the floor is and how the bucket can feel even twice as big when you're playing in the NBA with all that spacing. So it's definitely cool to see. And obviously we're here in Israel and we like to go to the games here, and you can just tell not only is the court smaller, but you see those differences in the toughness and the foul calls and just the rules. Even simple things like, the 3-second rule, how players here can spend a lot more time in the paint than they can over there. So it's obviously very interesting to see that. And it's very cool how, Walker's being successful and all that. But yeah, again, it's very cool to see just the differences between, the NBA and the EuroLeague. But for you guys, in terms of like what you're doing at Auburn, did you feel that you were really, what was your style of play? Obviously, I talked about the SEC versus the Big Ten, but once you guys advance into the tournaments and once you're leaving that SEC style of play, like when you play versus other SEC teams versus you're playing, for example, a team from the Big Ten, which are maybe they're a little bit more physical or maybe they run different defenses. So as the season went on and you guys advanced and played schools from all over and really different conferences, what are some of the things that you guys were always going to be big part of your game plan versus something that you would adapt in terms of based on who you were playing?
Yeah. So, we spend a lot of time on game plans, with scouts and, just figuring out how we're going to guard. Something that we always take with us is our defense. We pride ourselves on that, and no matter what they're running, we're gonna be up on them. We're gonna have a high pickup point. We might have to have a lower pickup point if there's really fast guards, but regardless, we're going to get after them for 40 minutes on the defense. So, offense is offense. We can live with that, but without our defense, if we don't have our defense, we're not going to be successful. So that's kind of what we take or try to take to every single game.
It's very interesting. Defense is definitely a bigger thing in college, I'd say, than the NBA right now. You see, like, freaking Jalen Green going off for 42 points. Like, you wouldn't see that 20 years ago.
Yeah.
What do you think right now watching the NBA? You think it's got less interesting, like, straight up, just because of the defense?
I mean, obviously, it gets a little it gets more interesting as it gets closer to the playoffs. But when I watch the NBA, I'm really just watching it. Honestly, I'm just watching like a couple players like Luka or like Steph. Just to learn a couple things. Like I'm not really like watching the whole game. I'm just trying to pick up a few things from each team, and then like obviously when it gets to the playoffs, I'll watch the games because. But
is there one specific guy that you like try and like model your game after?
I want to say like one specific guy, but I try to like copy some of like Luka's moves.
Luka's so tough. Oh my god.
He's got like the craziest footwork, and
dude, he's so tough.
I try to learn some of that.
Yeah, 100%. So transitioning here a little bit, we read right. So for us, it's the middle of final season right now. So just in terms of schoolwork and what we have to do, and we saw that you for the SEC, academic honor roll and all kinds of stuff for these things that you were able to achieve. Being a student athlete is something that people really overlook when it's talking about football, when it's talking about basketball. When I personally really like to dive deep into some of these football players or basketball players, how they handle their studies to perform well in terms of showing up for practice and being there for games and always being there for your team who needs you. And there's the flip side of that, having to be a full-time student as well. How do you handle that? And what are some things that you do? Do you think that you're able to put yourself in a position for success?
Yeah, so I'm an industrial design major, or like I like to call it product design. So I'm designing products, but that's like almost like a full-time job too. Mm-hmm. So just through the years having to do that in basketball, I've learned some great things during my major, but I think probably the most important thing I've learned is just time management. That would probably serve me the best. But it's a hard balance. I'm really focused on basketball, but I pride myself in my academics too. So there's just that balance that I have to find. And, as I'm a senior now, so I've kind of figured it out. But, like sophomore year when like classes were super hard and, I was starting to travel with the team, like, there were some long nights where I really had to, just like put aside like sometimes my social life, like, you know, and luckily I have great friends who understand that, but like, you know, you have to be kind of a little bit selfish, honestly, in a good way. Like, you know, someone's like telling you to come out tonight, and you're like, I really can't. Like, I gotta knock out this project. It just takes a lot of self-control and self-discipline, and that's probably the most important thing that I've learned throughout college, and that'll probably serve me the best throughout my life.
You think that basketball has helped you gain that self-control?
Yeah, definitely. It's sports, they really teach you, self-discipline, having to be on time to practice, having to, have a boss or coach, having different teammates. There's easy to play with teammates and there's hard to play with teammates, just all that stuff, it just really makes you disciplined. And yes, it's definitely helped.
Are there, I'm not exactly sure how it works in terms of being a student athlete and keeping your role on the team. Are there, minimum requirements that a student would have to make would have to reach in terms to, keep his position on the team? Are there, if you don't perform well in certain school activities, you can't play on the court, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the NCAA's got a couple requirements. First off, you have to have like a certain amount of hours towards your major classes. And then I'm not sure the minimum GPA requirement is probably like a 2.0 or something, 1.9.
He's just trying to get the maximum. He doesn't really care about the minimum right now.
Yeah, that's true. Hopefully I'll not lose my eligibility because that'd be very bad. But no, Auburn, our Coach Pearl, he doesn't really play around with the school. Like, if you're not doing your stuff, he's gonna discipline you. So, that's something that he instills in the Auburn program, and all my teammates respond
What's
to that.
it like being under Pearl? Watching him on TV and like whatnot, dude, this guy's crazy.
We get pride watching him play and watching him, control the team and really be a voice for just, support of Israel in general, or just, being a Jew. So, what is it like, playing under him and the effect he has?
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, I just remember watching on TV like before I was in college, and just the passion he has when he's coaching. And I really didn't know where I wanted to go for college for a while, but I had a meeting with Coach Pearl, me and my family, and it was just awesome. We talked for like an hour, and it's also super cool that he's Jewish too, like me. Like Passover, he'll have me over for like a Seder.
Oh wow, that's sick.
Bruce Pearl Seder. Yeah,
I'm trying to get invited to Bruce Pearl Seder, honestly.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. He'll also he'll throw like a Hanukkah party for all the Jewish people in Auburn students. It's not that many, but it's still fun. He'll like whip up some latkes, and but yeah, it's just really cool to have that connection like outside of basketball. It's really special. I'm glad I'm here.
Do you or even as a, how do I say it, like, do you see him or even yourself getting any backlash from supporting like Judaism or Israel?
Yeah, so he's got a large platform, and he's very communicative and like social media, Twitter, and I'm sure he does, but that's not going to really change. All he's trying to do is just get stuff out there, so people who might not know, they might read it and say, all right, I know now.
Sure.
Me, I've been fortunate enough. I haven't really experienced much backlash for anything I've believed in or said, but I know I'm really fortunate. That's not always the case, but I'd like to think that I'd be strong throughout that, even if it did happen.
Yeah, 100%. We learn even in here and even in high school how to combat a lot of that stuff in social media. But a question I actually had for you earlier when we were talking about the NCAA, something that I've thought is very interesting and I've been keeping a close eye on is just NIL in general. I think it's very interesting how athletes are now able to benefit off of their own brand and their own image. Have you noticed anything in maybe your teammates or maybe the way they treat you as a kind of student athlete that has to do with NIL? Maybe are there any, I don't know if there's any deals that you've signed or any deals that your teammates have signed, but what's it like now that students are, athletes are able to make some money off of their name and likeness?
Yeah, so I can, speak for my team. It's, it exists, but, you don't really, it's not something I guess you like really talk. Like none of my teammates are like boasting. Like I got this. Like we're all like a team. So like, and I'm sure everyone's taking advantage of it as much as they can, which is awesome. I think it's a great thing to get paid for all these hours that you're putting in. But I think it's really cool. But all my teammates have done a great job of just it's just business. We have our team. There's you can't lose focus of basketball just because of these deals. Like winning is the main focus, and I think we've done a good job of staying together through all that.
I want to hear your number one matchup all time. Who is someone you had like a crazy matchup with?
Toughest to guard.
Toughest to guard.
I'm sure you played a lot of future pros, so it's probably a tough question.
Yeah, I'm thinking. There's been a lot of people.
Or even someone that you were like, "Whoa, this is like insane that I'm guarding this guy right now."
Like say Jabari, the guy who was top 3.
Yeah, I was about to say like that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, in practice, I'm guarding,
you're guarding Jabari Smith every single day. The guy's top 3.
That definitely counts. That's crazy. That's still crazy. Like, dude, does he even see you? You put like 2 hands up. He's like 6'10", no?
You'll play like the best D of your life. You'll get like a full contest and everything, but you'll just turn around and just you're not there. So
it's crazy.
I gave him a few buckets too. So it's
there you go.
There you go.
So I was curious. We're talking about routes that players take after Division I college. It's obviously so diverse. Everybody does their own thing. People play overseas. People try to make it in the NBA. Something that's been emerging like in a huge fashion is now the G League, right? Players are now able to be paid much more money than they were being able to be paid in the past. So have you found that maybe that's something, obviously we talked about before, you like to play in Israel, but is that something that people are really considering doing instead of playing professionally overseas, just trying to make it in the G League? Do you think that's going to become a more popular option for people to take in the future?
Yeah, I think, it's a good route to go. A lot of people have gone that route. Like, I think Jalen Green, he went to the straight to the G League, had a great couple seasons, and then now he's, doing great in the NBA. But, for someone who like maybe is not able to make the NBA, I think the G League's a great place to go. For me, it'd be nice. It'd be like a hard decision maybe there between Israel, but I really feel like at home at Israel. So like
that's awesome.
For me, I'd probably pick Israel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. What do you think about Ryan Terrell playing in the Keepa? Have you seen some of his clips or some of his highlights up there in Detroit?
Yeah, I've been following him a little. With Shiva now he's at the G League, and it's so cool. You'll have like a couple clips, and there'll be like a whole little section of fans just like going crazy.
It's nuts.
I think he went off. I'm not sure how long ago, but he had a pretty good game.
Yeah,
they went like 20, 8 for 10 or something
like that. 20 points. It's just so cool to see this guy wearing a Keepa yarmulke on the court.
Yeah, he's got so many like doubters, and he's just doing his thing. It's pretty cool.
Playing in Detroit, I said it before. Like we could see him in the NBA. I still believe it, bro.
I give him a couple years. I'd say. I don't know. I mean,
I'm manifesting it.
Yeah, there you go. So
that'd be awesome.
That would be amazing. So just like a few more questions for you, right? Talk about Detroit, talk about the future. What do you think about Victor Wembanyama? What do you think about this upcoming draft? How do you think he's gonna just picking your brain about the NBA? I don't know how much you follow, how much you're into it, but what do you think about that guy and how he's gonna take his talents and how he's gonna perform?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not like so like big into like the next draft and this and like seeing that, but I don't know. I've just seen some videos of him.
Yeah, the guy's a freak.
Internet. That's crazy. Like, if he can stay healthy, I don't know how people are gonna be able to guard him because like he can shoot like a normal guard.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
He's shooting
shots,
off one leg too. Like
I know
it's ridiculous.
That's just crazy. But yeah, I'm sure he'll do fine.
Do you ever catch yourself or any of your teammates, maybe even Bruce, watching like EuroLeague ball rather than NBA or college ball?
I haven't seen anyone watching the Euro ball. No, everyone watching this college, and
Right. I'm pretty sure that
NBA.
they're probably pretty focused on the NBA. There's a lot of that kind of stuff now. We're getting just a pop-up warning on the Zoom call, but I do want to ask you just a few more things. So staying on the topic of the NBA and all that kind of stuff, we want to know. We're trying to ask all of our guests. We're trying to get as many predictions in before we can at the end of the season. Who's your team to win it all this year in the NBA? And I'd also like, obviously, you're going to pick the Tigers to win in the NCAA. But what's another team you like over there?
In college?
Yeah, just obviously try to just stick with the Tigers. Let's talk about the NBA then.
NBA, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I couldn't even tell you who like the top teams are right now. What are some of the top teams?
You can just say Steph Curry. That's a good answer. Or LeBron. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, your boy Luka. Luka's tough. Luka could take them somewhere. I really think so.
Saying. I don't know if he can take them all the way, but that would be pretty cool. So yeah, I'll go with them.
Dude, yeah, that would be amazing. Okay, we're wrapping up. We're here on about 30-minute mark. I just want to again thank you for joining us, taking time out of
appreciate it, man.
I'm sure it's an incredibly busy schedule. We just want to wish you from the Baseline Podcast here and everyone behind it much luck for the rest of the regular season.
Sir,
we're rooting for the Tigers. We're rooting for Coach Pearl a lot.
See him in Israel soon.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
huge.
Thank y'all.
We'll
thank
be
y'all
there.
For having me. I had an awesome time. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you.
Appreciate you, man. Have a good one. Thank you again.
All right. I'll see y'all.
Okay, that was Lior Berman from the Auburn Tigers. That was a really good interview. The guy he's got a lot of insider experience just as a Jew playing in the NCAA, which is really cool.
Playing with Bruce, who I know I mentioned it right at the end of the interview, but John and I are big fans of Bruce. A lot of pride for me when I'm watching the Tigers, just because you really see the effect of somebody Jewish on just what he can do for the team, what he can do for the culture, and what he can have people feel about Israel and about Judaism in general. People, we've talked about it in the past podcasts about like how we talked about Jason and how his family reacted to him playing in Israel and how that's not something you're worried about. Oh, is he going to be okay? You see all this scary stuff in the news. And then Bruce brings the whole team over and, Right. And Jason now, he said this feels like home. So did Maurice, right? Maurice said that this Bnei Herzliya team is one of the most family-like teams he's ever been on.
Right.
What, he's played on 9 different teams?
Crazy.
That's nuts. Bro, and like Bruce bringing all these guys who are like 18 to 20, 22.
Exactly, they're young.
And these guys have no idea about Israel. They don't know what they're missing out on. We're out here, we're living the time of our lives. And Bruce is like, yo, I'm going to take you guys to Israel. I'm going to show you guys how to live.
You can have a few nights in Tel Aviv.
Different type of basketball. Dude, they probably come out here. You said that they played the Israeli national team.
Yeah.
They're probably like, oh, shit, he just fouled me, bro. And they're like getting no calls because this is European basketball. But it's so cool. Like, Bruce really loves Israel. And you see it reflected in Lior.
Yeah.
He's like, very excited to come and play in Israel. He even said that he would want to play here professionally,
which is super cool.
It's so cool. It's good to see like more recognition,
Yeah, it is awesome. And I didn't. Maybe he did say I didn't notice if they beat the third team with Denny and Yamadar. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But I'm sure it was a close game. But it was really cool to get his insight. I mean, obviously, we're talking to a lot of people here. But this is a guy who went to practice every single day with Jabari Smith. Like the top 3 pick in the NBA draft. The guy's 6'10". He can shoot. He can pass. He can do everything. So it's very cool to get that insider scoop on it. I liked how he told us how he got a few buckets on Jabari. It's very cool.
Man, Jabari's tough. He you can see him being the next Pascal Siakam. That's what I would compare him to.
Yeah, hopefully.
I was watching him. He's a lengthy scorer. He's tough. You put any guy on him, he's gonna score over you.
Right. He needs a few years, but I'm definitely gonna.
He's so
I'm
young.
looking for it in the future. Yeah, he is really young. We've got to talk a little bit about the NBA. We haven't really had a chance to really get into it. This episode's a good opportunity for us to do it. We saw something very interesting last night. I mean, I know that you saw it as a Celtics fan, and I saw it with LeBron. It's just a very interesting.
I think this takes us. I already know what you're about to say. This takes us to the whole NBA business discussion, how the NBA is like a TV show now.
Yeah.
And it's like game by game you see it even more.
Yeah.
What were you about to say?
I was gonna say that, look, I'm a big fan of Adam Silver, right? Commissioner of the NBA. I love all sports, like American sports. I follow a lot of commissioners. You got Rob Manfred in baseball. You got Roger Goodell in the NFL. Nobody likes Roger Goodell. And Adam Silver has been a commissioner who has really transformed the state of the game where he took it in.
Handed by David Stern.
Of course, David Stern.
Who did a great job.
Who did a great job. 2 Jews in a row, David Stern and Adam Silver, which is just super cool. Super cool. But so we saw last night where you see LeBron freaking out about the foul call. You see lots of texts were being called last night. I think Dennis Schroeder got a tech for just laying on the ground. You saw that funny clip of Patrick Beverly showing the ref the camera.
That was insane.
And get a tech. I'm asking you, John, do you think that at the beginning of this season, so look, I think Adam Silver's probably very transparent with the NBA, right? He wants to be in contact with the players and talk to them and have just one thought process and not anyone questioning what's going on.
You have the NBAPA, the Players Association.
Exactly. Do you think that Adam Silver or somebody in the NBA spoke to the players before the season and said, hey, if you do A, B, and C, you're going to get a tech. And that's something that we're going to stick with and really be hard on. Because
I think it's something that they agreed upon. Is that what you're saying?
I do, because you see techs being called way more often. And although people argue about it, you see them arguing about the calls like we had last night.
Right.
But there's not too much public outcry about the actual text being given out. And to me, that seems like maybe it was mentioned at the beginning of the season that they were going to be very strict with giving out texts. So what do you think? Do you think there was some kind of PSA to the players?
There definitely could have been. And there definitely could be like these guys who overreact in game because, high tense pressure games, like they get upset.
Their
obviously.
Personalities.
That's just like they love the game of basketball. They're going to get upset. They get those texts, and in the moment, they're going crazy. Definitely could have been that 6 months, 4 months, 3 months ago, they agreed on okay, if this happens, then yeah, we can agree that should be a tech.
Mm-hmm.
But at the other end, that to me at least, as someone who loves watching guys get fired up, that just makes them totally disregarded, I guess.
Right. So I want to transition a little bit, right? We just had our All-Star starters picked.
JT.
Yeah, Jason Tatum and Giannis made it. There was a big outcry, right, that Joel Embiid didn't make it, right? But you look at the 5 guys from the East.
Wow, he had a crazy game last night.
He did versus Denver. That was a great game.
Yeah.
But look, you've got Kevin Durant is a forward who gets selected to play, and you have Giannis is a forward selected to play. So when people have these outcry, oh my God, how did Joel Embiid not get picked? For me, it's you got to be realistic. They put 3 guards in. It was Mitchell. Who was it? Mitchell, Tatum, and there's one more.
I don't know the last one.
Okay, well, Mitchell, Tatum, and somebody else. But you can only put in 2 forward centers. They put in.
Do you think that it also has to do with KD's? That sucks that it was Kyrie. No, but do you think that it also has to, the Joel Embiid public outcry, what you're saying, do you think it has to do also with the fact that KD hasn't even played as much as Joel?
Right, KD hasn't played as much as Joel. He did get hurt towards the end, which is, I think it was another leg injury, so I don't think KD's going to risk it. He's probably not going to play in the All-Star game, so Joel will probably end up starting.
So maybe it was a kind of way that they could finesse both of them being starters.
Oh, that's true. They could do that, because Joel's going to start there in the end of the day. All-Star weekend's coming up.
Dude, Mac McClung in the dunk contest.
In the dunk contest, that's going to be very cool. I don't think NBA players were really going to be participating in that because of risk of injury, all that stuff. Obviously, everyone would like to see John Morant in the dunk contest.
That'd be crazy.
But the guy's trying to win a title. I don't think he's going to get too caught up in winning the dunk contest. But lots of interesting things to look for. I'm looking forward, just to the Rising Stars game, which is really cool. They're adding some new things to the weekend, like the HBCU Classic, and obviously the skills contest.
The way they're picking the teams before, that's going to be cool.
Very cool. That's going to be a cool feature.
That one last guy getting picked last is going to be all right, fine. Walks over, and this is probably friggin' these all-stars, oh my God, it could be anyone
yeah, it's gonna be
one
funny.
of the best players on some team, and they're getting picked last.
Yeah, but you're in the All-Star game, so you can't really complain about it.
Probably get picked first anywhere else in the world.
Literally anywhere else in the world. I actually saw a clip about Mike James talking about a EuroLeague All-Star game, which would be really cool. I'm sure there's a lot of technical problems to making that happen of everybody's scheduling, but right. What better way to showcase EuroLeague talent than having a EuroLeague All-Star game?
That would be really cool.
I think it would be definitely something that would help market the EuroLeague, right?
Sure.
We know the EuroLeague's up and coming. We've been talking about it nonstop.
They can even have there's EuroLeague, there's Champions League, and there's Euro Cup, right?
Exactly.
We talked about it with Maurice. they definitely can have a Euro League All-Star game and Champions League All-Star game,
Right.
and then like a Euro Cup All-Star game. And each one like they can have in certain places, but then you get into politics, and then there's
Right.
all that because you're not dealing with states now.
Right.
You're dealing
Countries.
with countries.
So a lot of stuff
So
involved.
there's a lot of
It would be a great way to showcase talent.
It'd be awesome.
For the EuroLeague. I feel like that's the only way they could maybe expand their audience just a little bit.
There is a Winter League and the Israeli League All-Star game, which our boy Josh Azaraf
Ooh.
at Hoops.
Yeah, shout out Josh.
He actually filmed for the All-Star game last year.
Wow.
And you saw there's high talent here. So like that's a crazy game to watch too.
Yeah, 100%. Again, check out our boy Josh Azaraf at Hoops on Instagram. He's got some great content there. But again, look, that was a great interview with Lior. A lot of cool things, a little bit of an insight to that Division I NCAA ball. I was really actually looking forward to talking about how he stays focused as a student athlete. I know I mentioned
Right.
it's finals season.
Man.
The finals are killing us. I'm sure they're killing you as a professional athlete. I mean, as a college athlete and a full-time student as well. It's something really hard. You read about NBA players who had great GPAs in college, and it's just like kind of crazy to think about how they manage their lives are consumed by basketball, but they also have the chance to do well in school.
You also got these Ivy League players too.
Mm-hmm.
Like imagine they definitely have a restriction with their GPA.
Right.
Like there's no chance they don't. So like they're putting in the work, and like that's tough.
Definitely very interesting. All right, we're gonna wrap up here on the Baseline, episode 4. 4 episodes gone by
We're
pretty
getting
fast.
at it.
We're gonna shout out our Instagram, which is up and running. It's brand new. You can follow us at thebaseline.podcast, all lowercase, no spaces. We look forward to seeing you there.
Show us some love.
Show us some love. Leave a comment on the gram. You know how it is.
Yes, sir.
Send it to your friends. We're going to wrap this one up. Thank you for listening to the Baseline episode 4.
Hey,
Peace
Lila
out.
Toe.
The Baseline. Stories from the court with Jonathan Riers and Mayor Cohen.
All our shows and podcasts available online on our website and on all podcast platforms. Search Audioversity.